fighter jocks and test pilots, and they were very familiar with moving around at very high speed. So, and I did promise we'd get some cars into this, when it came to moving around on the face of the Earth, there was one car they favoured above all others. The Corvette, America's premier sports car.
Away! Yes, John Glenn, holder of supersonic flight records and the first American to orbit the Earth, drove this. Well, that's interesting. It has an engine of just under 600cc, 2 cylinders, 0 to 60, 35 seconds. The big love-in between the American astronaut and the Corvette started with Alan Shepard, the first American in space in 1961. And on his safe return to Earth, he was given a free Corvette by General Motors, a sort of medal for services to the country. By 1969, just inside Kennedy's deadline, NASA was ready to try landing some men on the moon. The astronauts chosen were Buzz Aldrin, who drove a Corvette, Neil Armstrong, who drove a Corvette, and Mike Collins, who drove a Beetle. Presumably that's why they left him in the command module and didn't let him walk on the lunar surface.
Eagle, Houston, we have you now. Do you read over? Loud and clear.
When the astronauts finally approached the surface of the moon, the landing was not without drama.
Okay, all flight controllers, gonna go for landing.
The designated spot was full of craters,
Eagle, Houston, you're a go for landing.
forcing Armstrong to fly manually and look for another place to set down.
4 forward, drift into the right a little. Okay, engine stop. Mode control, both autos, and engine command override off. We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
When they finally landed, they had just 20 seconds of fuel remaining. But no matter, they were down on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Back on Earth, a hero's welcome awaited. And once he got home, Armstrong, like so many astronauts, would swap the seat in his spacecraft for a seat in a Corvette. Here we go! And when I say Corvette, I mean this actual Corvette. This one. This was his. This is Neil Armstrong's Corvette. Oh. His hands were here, he looked at the instruments like that. He touched that. Neil Armstrong, the first person to set foot somewhere other than the Earth. Go. Forward. Right then, let's go. Go!
throttle. The owner of this car, when he realised what it was he'd found, decided not to restore it. He would leave it exactly as it was. He would just do enough to make it run. So he hasn't done the paint, he hasn't replaced bits in here. This is all exactly as he found it. There's patina on the bonnet there. There's a scuff bit on the door. It's real. Hello, Rev Counter. Neil Armstrong's looked at you, hasn't he? Oh, I think a Huey is coming. There's Mr. Huey, there's the evocative wump. Those are the two sounds of the 60s, aren't they? That wump and the sound of Neil Armstrong speaking from the moon.
Anyway, that's enough about space now.